the only certain thing in life is change. I have changed all of it so many times to get to where we are. It was losing my son that caused me to move forward doing it. I truly believe that it is one of the biggest mistakes small businesses make is that they don't start systemizing from day one.
There's also just the community we see on the daily. We know so many people just by name, their order. We recognize their voice on the speaker. We get to see all their pets. We see them through their phases of life. And we get to see each other through our phases of life. And that's just really cool. We make so many connections here.
All right, now we are back for another episode in the chapter 2 of documenting the journey. Hi Joy, how are you?
I'm doing well, how about you?
I'm well. This is actually, these are turning out pretty good. I believe that this is interview number 6, and I've been able to answer quite a few creative questions. So,
creative.
Yes, it's been, let's just say it's been an interesting experience, and we still have many more to go. But this is your interview, so I will let you start with your questions.
Alrighty. If you could change one thing, and when you did it all over again, if you could change one thing, what would be the number one thing you would change?
I have said this so many times that the only certain thing in life is change. I have changed all of it so many times to get to where we are. If I had to change one thing, it's that I would have documented everything, and I would have built the systems and all of the training from day one. Because in the very beginning, we were people dependent, and there was so much lost in translation. And I really didn't start experiencing any type of success in the business until we got to systems dependent, because the systems are what has guaranteed consistency in the product.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time to get to this point with all of the systems that we've developed, but for you to be able to walk in and go right into a training program where you systematically learn how to create all of the drinks, everything that's on the menu. I didn't do that in the beginning, and it caused a whole lot of pain. And I truly believe that it is one of the biggest mistakes small businesses make is that they don't start systemizing from day one. And without those systems, nobody knows what they're supposed to replicate.
I remember the implementation, big difference for sure. Alrighty, what is your favorite product / idea you have implemented into the company?
My favorite product?
Or idea, either one.
I mean, my favorite product, that's just because I am a house coffee person. My favorite product is our house coffee. I start my day with 3 cups every day. I don't know that there's any one thing that I'm like, I feel like I have encouraged creativity and a willingness to test anybody's ideas, knowing it can't always be me that brings the idea to the table. So in that respect, it has allowed people to come in, and when you have had creativity, like we provide a platform and a place to test that creativity, and if it turns out to be something really good, it's made its way to the customers and then eventually made its way to the menu, because we have a pretty big menu, and I'm responsible for creating about half of it. And all of you are responsible for creating the other half. I'm glad that I was open-minded and always willing to test, because we've got some really cool items on the menu that did not come from me in any way, shape, or form.
I also love that about this company. If the company color wasn't red, what would it be?
I mean,
is there no replacing it?
Well, there's no replacing it. I mean, because red is all based on my son's favorite color. My personal favorite color is blue, but I don't know that blue necessarily goes with a coffee concept or a pizza concept. I don't know. Connor's favorite color was red, and then it was very easy to make that transition to, well, red is the color of passion. Then you get into blood red, and I don't necessarily subscribe to family is not just about genetics. You can have a chosen family, and so I think that it was just in that respect meant to be, because Starbucks chose green to the point that they own their shade of green, and so it was like, okay, what are we going to do? Well, Connor's favorite color was red, so it was a very easy progression to say splash red everywhere. It was his contribution, I guess, when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that's beautiful, honestly. Did you ever have a partner going into this business?
Did I ever have a partner going into the business? Not in the sense that you were asking. This was a brainchild that sat in the back of my head for over a decade before I decided to do anything with it. It was losing my son that caused me to move forward doing it. And within 30 days of me opening my store, my ex-wife decided that she wanted to be a part of it. I was more than willing to have Marcia be a part of it because much the same reason that I started it for fear of bad things happening by not having something for my brain to wrap around. When I saw that she wanted to get involved, I again saw it was something for her brain to wrap around while we were dealing with that grief in general. Marcia is the original Coffee Junkies barista, and she was a part of the business for the better part of the first decade of the business itself. So in that respect, my ex-wife was a part of it. And I do, I don't know that you've ever met Rebecca. Rebecca is my business partner, and she is a partial owner of the Washington Street operation. So in that respect, Rebecca is a business partner. She's head of HR. She is my best friend. She has been with me for about 12 years now, but she was not originally a part of the actual business itself.
Do you regret doing it that way, or do you like the way that it's kind of played out?
Well, to be candid, I don't play well with others.
Fair enough.
I have had to, it's like in the very beginning, I made so many mistakes. So once I had made so many mistakes, when I asked people to help me rebound, I put roadblocks in front of myself, checkpoints, people to make sure that I was not continually making bad decisions, because I made a lot of bad decisions in the beginning. But about like with any relationship, if I'm being candid, two people cannot steer a ship. You have to have one person steering a ship. So there's nothing wrong with partnerships. But when you're saying partner and asking it along these lines, my brain automatically thinks about like an equal partner. And I don't believe that those partnerships work out in general. And I never found somebody where it was like, I have this really big need here and you're better at it than I am. And so I would entertain a partnership. And there were times when I entertained because I wanted money to grow, but my mentor came to me very candidly, and I think that this was part of his own journey. He was very direct to say, I'm trying to guide you down a path where you own your business 100% and you don't have partners, because it makes it that much more difficult. Later on, I had conversations with him, and he's like, once you get to scale and you really need monetary partners, now we're talking about a different story and a different game. But he recognized and he helped guide me down that path of the more people that are involved in the decision making, the harder it is to make decisions and move fast. And moving fast is one of the few advantages that small business has up against big business. Big business has so many layers and so much bureaucracy that a decision-making process has to roll through before you ever get to implementation. One of the tools that I have leaned on in a small business is that one of you can come up with an idea. I can quickly vet that idea and we can implement that idea quickly. And if I had a bunch of partners involved, I would be like, well, I think that this sounds like a good idea, but I've got to run it past the partners to get approval. And it was like, so I'm being somewhat jovial when I say I don't play well with others. I think honestly, at the end of the day, I do play well with others. But when it comes to that, I've recognized that I'm like 20 years in. I know what's right. I know the direction that we want to go. And if I had to butt heads with somebody else or get approval from somebody else, I don't know how that would go. And I'm glad that I have been able to develop it in this manner.
Alrighty, okay. What is your biggest end game dream for this franchise? That's gonna be the finish line, I made it.
When you say that, I start thinking about the numbers of it. When I originally got into business, I wanted 50 stores in 5 years. I screwed that all up. That didn't happen. But when I say that Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies is a $1 billion brand, then I automatically go to the numbers. 50 stores in 50 states is 2,500 operations, each operation doing between $1 million and $2 billion, $1 million and $2 million. Now you're talking about a multi-billion dollar operation. And the question is, I'm going to guide it in that direction. At what point is it going to get so big and I'm going to get to an age to say, it is time for me to step back and let the next generation continue that development in general? I am just making sure that I am always willing to do what is necessary to put the business in a position of fulfilling that vision of a minimum of 50 stores in 50 states to become a national brand.
That's a good goal. How did you come up with the idea of having the insane number of 6 shots of espresso in just the base level?
You know what? That was an idea that came out of I had some friends that had a coffee shop in Ohio, and they were doing 6-shot drinks, and I started looking for different ways. I never wanted, when I started doing research, I saw that so many coffee shops just automatically tried to copy Starbucks, and they were Starbucks knockoffs. I didn't want that. I wanted to do it different. I wanted to be different. So I started looking for all of the ways that I could separate and be different. And Starbucks is very much a standard, 1, 2, or 3 shots. And, oh, you got an extra shot. Oh, you got 4 shots. And I'm like, no, I saw it as I wasn't doing the third place. I was doing the drive-through caffeine distribution, and I saw that through the measurements of a cup.
Yeah.
Okay, I can put 6 ounces of espresso in here and still have plenty of room for syrup or sauce and milk, and it still be a pleasurable drink with a higher level of caffeine content in general.
To build on that, is there anything that inspired the names for the Jumpstart and White Lightning?
Honestly, when I think about the whole separation of the latte and mocha, because those were some of our original drinks. So trying to get my brain to go back and think about all of that.
A little bit of a
way
time
back
jump
then.
there.
Yeah, but when we're talking about it, it was always our lattes are white milk, our mochas are chocolate milk. So the White Lightning came pretty naturally, but I cannot directly put my finger on to say this is where the Jumpstart actually came from.
I see. All right. What is the number one thing that you look for when you create a team to hire someone?
That's almost a trick question, and I say it like that because this work is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's so much. Like, you guys are truly baristas, and I say it like that because I don't want to insult what some other companies do, but like, there are other companies and there are other like types of businesses, and coming from mass manufacturing, I get it, but they just push a button. As a barista, you understand the entire cup construction. You understand everything that goes into making a cup of coffee. And a barista is a coffee bartender. Well, bartending is not for everybody. It is truly about mixology, and not everybody's built for that. But if there's one thing, at least on the coffee side, it's that bubbly personality that wants to interact with people. It's that making that connection, that there are some people that are just more introverted and they're more reserved, and they work well in a team, but they're not built for being at the counter and serving and conversing with customers.
Yeah.
You need people that are more outgoing. So, I mean, it's like you look to see how do people gel with the team in general, but when it comes to what is your first thing as a barista outside of being a coffee bartender? Interacting with people.
Yeah.
So do you have that personality that looks like you will interact with people? And we've had a couple girls come through that we've had to break you out of your shell, and it's almost like watching a butterfly blossom. And it's because the funny thing is you'll find people that'll interview well and they'll be horrible, and you'll find people that interview horrible and they end up being some of the best. But when I'm talking to the managers, it's like you just look for those little things that think there might be something there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people kind of, even you'll give them that shot, and very quickly you either see that you made a good decision or they weed themselves out because they're just not built to do it.
I think I was definitely a little bit quieter when I first started. Glad I'm better now.
You break out. You don't have a choice but to break out of that. But that's the people that resist it, that they end up falling away.
You become
and the
a
people
product
that
of the environment.
let the environment affect them and start to blossom. And yes.
Alrighty. What is your fondest, most, maybe even funniest memory of building this franchise?
Fondest, funniest memory.
It can be more than one also.
I know. Similar question. I don't want to necessarily give a similar answer. I'm trying to think of a fondest, funniest memory. Man, that's so, because the thing is I can list off a dozen very painful memories that'll never go away, but fond, funny memories.
I don't know if it makes the podium, but I've definitely seen or heard stories of you goofing off in the kitchen.
We had, that's the thing is, because I guess some of my fondest memories were in the original store, which was a little 400 square foot. Because I'm having a memory right now where it was the creation of the Coffee Junkies girls. And still working at Chrysler and having all of my Chrysler friends, we backed up a bunch of Dodge Rams in front of the thing. And then we got all the girls up on the tailgate so that we could actually get pictures of it all. And it was a community thing, and it was Chrysler and all of my friends from Chrysler coming to show their support because I was trying to get something off the ground. But I mean, fond, funny memories are generally formed out of the community side. That in all of the pain, there has been a lot of good memories, but generally it's been a contribution of you and everybody else.
Very heartwarming. Alrighty, I think this is the last one. Do you think you'll make another Something Junkies at any point? You've got pizza, you've got coffee.
I don't. Honestly, I doubt it. And I say it like that because one of the other companies I owned, we have created T-shirt Junkies, and it's because we're doing an online apparel business. And it was wanted by them, and I'm like, fine, that's okay. But a question that's been asked is, do I have a desire to start or buy or build another business? And I don't, because I realized that it took my time, money, attention, and focus off of Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies. And I want to see this become a national brand. That is the goal. That is the journey. So I want to put my full effort into duplicating this as many times as I can across America. And does that open up a door for time, attention, and opportunity to create another Junkies brand? I don't know that it does, because I started working full-time at 14. And then I gave 14 years to Chrysler, and I have now given 20 years to this, and I know that I've got another 5 or 10 years in me. Building a brand is not something that you just do overnight, and I just don't know that I have the energy in me to. I mean, they all know I was working on building another brand, and when I think about these things, or like even the many brands in here where we created the energies, and we've created the liquid candies. For whatever reason, my brain has attached to the Z.
Yeah.
When we do things like, where can we add the Z? But that's internally still under the Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies umbrella. So candidly, no, I don't. It has been so painful. I don't know that I have it in me to start from scratch and start to build another one all over again under something that I have no frame of reference, because that's been the food and beverage is the easiest thing to get into, but it's the hardest to master. And I think we're doing pretty good in coffee and pizza. And I just don't know that there is another food line that I could see myself going down.
No Pasta Junkies?
No, that's it. Because I think at some point, due to the same way that we're working on introducing meatballs, because our sauces complement the creation of the product. At some point, I could see potentially bringing pasta in. Again, because our sauces complement the product, but it's years off because you don't bring in a new product until you've got full market saturation with the product that you've already got.
Yeah.
Because business is hard enough as it already is. You already got enough complication without actively trying to complicate it. And through the pain, I understand the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And other people be nice, keep it super simple. No, it's keep it simple, stupid. Like the actively trying to make it more complicated is just actively saying, I'm a glutton for punishment. I want to cause myself more pain. And I went through those years. I'm trying to not invite those years back.
Alrighty, those are all my questions.
Okay, so Joy, how long have you worked here?
A little bit over a year now.
And that it has been
a year at that.
I have had very good success on people staying at your age for a year, two. Second girl I hired stayed for 4.5 years. Mm-hmm. Fourth girl I hired stayed for 6.5 years.
Wow.
I think that there is a certain something to my background and what I want to see in our culture that has lended to that. But I guess that's the bigger point, that in small business, it's hard to get people that stick with the small business for a year, 2, 3 years, because I know this is very well a way station for you to move on to something else in your life. But it's a testament that we're doing something right if you stay here for a year. Yeah. So it just leads to the question, why do you choose to work for me?
Well, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but one of the several reasons is we have such close contact with you. You actually hear us, you listen to us. Our ideas get to the top. And whether they're good or they just need adjustment or they're what we need and it goes straight on the menu, they happen. I remember watching the energies get from the idea to the test to now we serve them on the daily. And I think that is just such a cool aspect. And then there's also just the community we see on the daily. We know so many people just by name, their order. We recognize their voice on the speaker. We get to see all their pets. We see them through their phases of life. And we get to see each other through our phases of life. And that's just really cool. We make so many connections here. It's just like you never forget your first job that's like this.
That's awesome. Okay, so why should other people patronize coffee junkies and pizza junkies? Why should other people give us a try?
Almost for the exact same reason. You come in here enough times, we will first name you by your regular order, and then we will get to know you, and I don't know if this story's been told already, but we had this couple that would come in every week, and one week they didn't come in, and we had this coworker, Doreen, who messaged them on Facebook, hey, not to be creepy, but we haven't seen you in a while. Are you okay? Are you alive? How are you doing? And it was a very normal reason. They were running into some financial issues. They had to cut back a little. We would see them soon. And it was just like the connections we make. They actually mean something. They're not just a publicity stunt, if that makes sense. And I mean, we talk to a lot of them like they're our friends. Because in a way they are, we know their dogs' names. They come through. Not to mention our drinks are really good. We have so much variety. You don't like this? Well, try this. Don't like that either? We have food.
Well, I've said for a long time, the two most powerful things you can say to somebody, do you want your usual? And hi, Frank, do you want your usual? So I'm glad that you see the value in that and that you embraced it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun.
Wonderful. Okay, that wraps it up. Another episode in the books. Have a great day. Powered by Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies.
Yay!